Oh god, Machado came back once again. Shout out to Evo. Baki versus Kengan Asura had went down earlier today. Well, it was technically today period. I don't know when it launched on Netflix, but I was able to watch it, tune into it, and boy, I was hyped up and excited. I keep it with both of these series. Two groups of savages going at each other. Only one can make it out alive. I cannot love the premise. I cannot love the idea. But overall, I thought it was alright. Overall, I think you should break this down one by one. I do like all the interactions between the characters, Gaia versus Matove. Excellent. Too bad we couldn't get the fight. Too bad. Boy, Gaia and Matove, Julius Reinhardt encountering Olivia and having an arm wrestling match that inconclusive. See some of the other guys recognize each other. So I never had a problem with the whole idea of them trying to tie the two worlds into each other, but they could have explained it better, especially with the whole. Well, the Kengan Asura fights are pretty much a sponsored fight between two companies, so that's why they would have never heard of the Tokyo Underground. Since these are fighters coming in here for no pay, just trying to see who's the strongest one there is. There is no company backing behind them. There is no extra incentive. There is no worm invasion. These are just two people or a group of people just fighting out just because to see who's the strongest, to become a real grappler. So I have no problem with trying to blend the two, but I think they could have better explained why the two never really encountered each other, especially with the type of audience they got in Kengan Asura and Omega and the Purgatory Tournament. So it's just like two different type of audiences. Even though the Kengan matches are underground, not truly. It's not like the whole under the Japanese dome thing where it's just like this is like a select few at the Zai takes of fights. So, and people have been murdered in both, but it's very different. It's very different. Especially strength throughout the two series are very different. But overall, all the encounters, especially with Chiba and Adam Dudley, I just like. I remember the title card. Oh, we got all these matches with Pickle. Why? Expected usually was going to show up. So, but to break it down part by part, the first fight between Sao Pain and Hamiyama is just I believe I could have chosen a better opponent for Hamiyama. I would have been interested to see him going against Wakatsuki. Or go against the guy that Julius fought in the Purgatory Tournament, that guy. Somebody with some a similar body attribute. Because against Sao Pain, it's not a bad matchup. It's really not. But that could have been a better opponent for Hamio. But overall, what you will notice throughout these fights is the characters won't fight like they used to. Crossing over. With Sao Pain, this man is ruthless, he's an animal, he's a savage, he gives you no time to breathe. But in this case, it's not so much. Same thing with Hamiyama, again and again. Now, if you were just seeing just new grappler Baki Hamiyama, the first Netflix series of Baki Hama, it'll make sense of why you see him. Just, well, he just go to the stands and punch over and over again. But Maximum Tournament and pre-Maximum Tournament, Hamiyama is a different breed. Man was throwing kicks, throwing out techniques. He was an animal. He was a monster. So I was expecting to get some of that. There are some stuff that does come from the Maximum Tournament, but that's for later. Overall, I enjoyed the fight. I did question why Hamiyama would continue to, after he broke his hand against Sao Pain's Hammer of Burma, that he'll keep using the same hand. Question. Or he just wouldn't do anything else. Like, we see him go against different opponents, Musashi, Yujiro, Baki, or Kazumi, and he just kept doing the same thing over and over again. Had different elements to his game, similar to how Sao Pain had different elements to his game, especially with his striking. So, for Hamiyama to lose the first initial exchange between the two, that makes sense. But he didn't really prepare the baseball punch, so when he launched Sao Pain halfway across the arena, it looks like a normal punch. I wish the Canadian guys could have come in. What type of punch is that? And then blam! But that didn't really happen. But overall, Sao Pain lost, which it's not surprising, but it's just the way the fighters fight. They don't fight like they usually do. Especially if they wasn't given no time to breathe. You've seen the Kengan fights, so you've seen the Baki fights. It's not just, well, they punch each other, have a comment. They punch each other, have a comment. Punch each other, have a comment. And punch, oh, they did a big move and just stop. No, there's no big move and stop in either of these series. They're getting finished. But overall, I enjoyed the fight overall. overall. See now, and what's also another thing, I'll get into that later. But going to the second fight, Kure Ryan, the devil of the Kure clan, the Taboo child, the Taboo descendant, versus the pit fighter, the Canadian, the Jack Hanma, the Jackhammer. And overall, it was a good fight, but it was also let's go to another thing. We both seen Kure Ryan and Oma, Kira Ryan and both Jack have these dual exchange fighting. Like you see the maximum tournament, Jack, he's already fought somebody in dual exchange and kicked with them, so it's not like something he wouldn't be experienced at. But if they're using like post grappler body, like 7 foot, same height as Pickle type Jack, it'll make sense why you lose that close range exchange, because he'll be a lot bigger than Kira Ryan. Because remember, Jack in maximum tournament was 6'4". Jack wasn't short. So he went from 6'4" to like what, 6'8", 6'9". Pickle's like 7'9", somewhere in between there. So he got another like ligament surgery. He got like a 3 in total, if I do recall. I think it's 3, and that's why he's close like to 8 feet now, and he's taller than Pickle, dwarfs Pickle at this point. So it's just you got that, and Jack retaliates. Now, too bad we never used that. See that uppercut that Jack's throw with? You see the dust goes up and just blam uppercut, or any type of uppercut for that matter. We didn't get to see that from Jack, nor did we get to see any Kura moves from Kura Ryan, cause this is a post Pickle fight Jack, but I guess it's just still just Kengan Asura version of Kira Ryan, but I don't recall Oma using the Whipping Willow. Or was this no, it's called the Willow. The Weeping Willow is like a Kira technique you use against low long. But so I believe that's the version of the Kira Ryan they're using here. On which sadly we didn't get a chance to see any Kira clan techniques like he does late in the tournament. On which I guess they didn't want to spoil anything. Reasonable. But it's just the fact that he used nothing is yeah. Let's go to another thing. Kira Ryan, even if you want to go like full berserk, Kira Ryan's not a dummy. He knows how to fight, and Jack as well. He's actually quite a bit thinker. He actually thinks out his opponents mid-fight. We've seen him do this in the Maximum Tournament and so on, even against Ali Jr. So it's just that happens as well. He's just gonna go all out and punch each other. It's great for a spectacle, but it's just, when I want to see these two guys fight, So when Kira Ryan pulled out the removal, it was like, yeah, things about to get real. We got to get real. You get to see Kira Ryan kicks up to another gear, but then Jack swallows the rest of his steroids. Which he will already be on the steroids before this. And also, this is not something they added in the anime version of the Maximum Turns in the manga. So instead of like juicing up in between rounds the entire time, when he fought Shibukawa, he actually swallowed the steroids right before the fight started. So that's not some type of, well, yeah, it's a nice callback, but it was never in the anime. In the Maximum Tournament, he just drunk the X4 that was in. So, then he'll get like mad or something like that, but he didn't really swallow anything that I can recall. Not at all. So we get Overdose Jack versus Remove Orion. On which it's very strange that they use Overdose Jack, but they don't really. So which goes to this whole Jack way of biting thing. Jack, everything he's done in Baki Do 2018, he's already done against the fighters in the Maximum Tournament. He's already bit people and had people surprised. He already took bites out of people's traps. And like this is nothing new for Jack. So the fact that he waited till then to do it, especially since he had that exchange with Baki, he had no problem doing it there. It's just because it's another case. He bit Kira Ryan. Kira Ryan blood pressure is through the roof with the removal. And the fact that he was not bleeding out at all is very, very strange. Because he bit him on his ankle, on the traps, on the bicep. Pretty sure he could have severed an artery with that bicep bite. And he didn't. There was like no time that Kira Ryan could have bled out. On which, in this case, as Kira Ryan was going to bleed out, that's what he could have got Jack in some type of Kira style ox grip and just choke Jack out instead of, we're just gonna strangle Jack with his bare hands? Yeah. And that's it. Like, Jack's not gonna fight back? Like there's no lock hold or anything? Nope. Just strangle him with his bare hands. What? So I presume that somebody's gonna have to win. And I had no problem if they would have ended off in the draw. But the fact that Kira Ryan was easily able to choke out Jack, and then Jack just gets back up and the fight continues, and then Pickle shows up for no real reason. Well, he's taking his prey. Since when has he cared about that? He beat Jack and he never cared about him afterwards. Jack wasn't on his radar. The next time we see Pickle after he fights Baki is when he's watching the Yujiro fight. And he shows up to see a look at Yujiro, and Baki's like, "Oh, sit your ass down. You're not finna interrupt this for me." And then Pickle goes sit his ass down. Sadly, he lost to Canine, though. That's quite sad. That's quite sad. Nor did they stitch back on Pickle's ear, but hey. Now, Pickle, you're going to have to take this Novocaine and just sit down. Huh? So I thought that was going to happen. So it was fun to see the cameo, and the fight just pretty much... Since Kira choked out Jack, they gave it to Kira Ryan, but Jack got up like a few seconds later. And there's multiple times where a character like got back up. So it's just... It was just hinting, and then... I thought they showed a silhouette of Motobi and Guy getting approached by somebody. I guess they didn't fight or stop Pickle. So what's the point of you being security if he was going to attempt to stop Pickle? Because at least Motobi don't know what this animal is. It was not like they took a lunch break or anything. Alright, guys. So now we got Kira Ryan still in removal. Jack post-overdose. And we have Pickle on the arena. Because Pickle somehow is upset that, I guess Kira Ryan took on his prey. On which I don't see why. Because he didn't show up when Motobi was fighting Jack or anything like that. But okay. And once I get to my theory of why certain things happen. But, pretty much almost stops Pickle. Kazumi and Kazumi and Retsu stops Kira Ryan, and Baki stops Jack, on which would have made more sense if Baki stopped Kira Ryan, but because of the whole power thing. But it's just, I have no problem with it. I just find it strange that it would be Kira Ryan getting stopped by Kazumi and Retsu, and this is a one-armed Kazumi. And a one-foot Retsu is not impossible, but it just looks strange. And then I have Oma communicating with the Pickle. I would have preferred it to be Baki, and it'll be Oma that stops Jack, and it's just like, hey, we're not gonna do this, but I guess you gotta have, cause like Baki, like Jack does not need to be calmed down like Kira Ryan does, so he doesn't need to be beat. He's not some type of cold. It's a personality thing, but overall, Kira Ryan gets the win. Because he strangled Jack, then Jack gets back up, and it's just starting to get too much bloody on which, look, man. If Kira Ryan would have choked out Jack, and then they would have slugged it out, well, I mean, like some type of chokehold, because he was bleeding out, then I was like, oh, yeah, that makes sense, and you know, Jack gets back up, got experience getting choked out, but just having it well, he's just strangling with his bare hands. That's it, that's it. No, like, Jack tried to jab his thumb into his throat, in which he learned from, I can't recall if it's Shubikawa or what it was, someone jabbed him in his throat in the maximum tournament. No. Okay, man. But overall, it's still the best fight in the series, because on to the Oma versus the Baki Hanma. The Pinnacle, were close ends. The Pinnacle in both series, the Baki versus the, Oma Takeda. And overall, I say it was good, but some of the triggers for certain things just kind of came out of nowhere. Especially with the instant hit, where it's just like Cosmo was like, oh, he can go into the zone just like I can. No, the concept is similar, but what Baki does when he drops somebody that quick, that's not just moving before someone else can think. That is pure speed, Similar to how Baki used the cockroach dash or the mock punch. If you're gonna use the mock punch, why not get behind Oma and release that whole mock punch Kazumi did against Hamayama inside the maximum tournament? That repeater punch, why not do that? Or someone, no Chasera stop chance. from the cockroach stash, none of that. But we do get to see some Nico style techniques and so on, on which I forgot that Baki had experience going against somebody who tensed up their muscles to reduce damage against Korea Kosho. Korea did the exact same thing before the maximum tournament, so he already had experience going against somebody tensing up their muscles. And once he was going to do that, he just could have used a Brendo on them and just whooped him, and it's just that would have introduced that. But overall, I enjoyed the fight. Besides from the fact that the fight is interrupted by Yujiro and Kuroki Gensai, who land hits on each other and pretty much they say the fight's unconcluded. So we got pretty much two different draws, and only one person won. Because Jack got back up after not too long being choked out. And can we just look like got two definitive winners in a final fight ended up with a draw? No. And I believe it was the Netflix team who wrote the story. Instead of like being like Itagaki or the Sandovich of Kengan Asura / Omega. Because it's just like, yeah. I enjoyed it. In my personal opinion, it should have been a mini-series. So even if we are going to stick with the 3 to maybe 4 fights, because Tokugawa's like, we're always going to have you versus Kuroki versus Yujiro. Kuroki's getting violated. Like, Yujiro has been stopped by nobody. And we have idiots out there, well, Baki beat it, well, stop it. If you believe Baki beat his father, you're an idiot. You're just straight dumb. But, I don't know, man. I don't know. Overall, I liked it. I just liked the fight. Like, we only got one definitive end. Jack got back up. Now, somebody said, what the whole Jack get back up thing? When Sao Pain was launched across the arena, there was a few of him to get back up. Again, even towards the end, he got back up one more time before getting put to sleep. Well, not to sleep, but being knocked out on his feet by Hanma, by getting hit again. So, with Sao Pain, he gets back up. But Jack wasn't allowed any time to get back up after getting choked out. He's just immediately over. You serious? I kind of wish we got more interactions in between the fights as well. Between the characters, like the Adam Dudleys and the Chiharu. That was hilarious. That was great. Julius Ronho. And then, share back ideas and talk about what their experience and different types of fighters and so on and stuff. Because the Baki fighters overwhelmingly are stronger than the Kengan Omega ones. Nobody who's read both series will ever try to sit here and argue that, unless you're on drugs. You're on drugs, you probably could. There's nobody who argue that. Nobody. Nobody. The Baki verse is way stronger than Omega. Easily. Easily. So, a whole lot of fights missed out on. There's nobody who really does Kung Fu, but it's a 4v4, because Kuroki Gensai is not going to beat Yujiro, so maybe put him against Rex Tsukayo. That would be interesting, because Rex Tsukayo do love a challenge. He do like a challenge. Look, Rex Tsukayo put his life on the line, especially with just like going to prove with all this 4,000 years karate mixed in with 4,000 years with Kung Fu and karate mixed in. When Rex Tsu has something to prove, people start to get murdered. People get hurt. But overall, I say it was solid, but it's just, I don't know. We got robbed of the two endings of the fight. The Kuria Ryan versus Jack. I have no problem with Jack losing that fight, because the other side had to win one. But it was the way they did it. Just, like, he could have pulled out some, like, halfway done Kuria chokehold. Just he had, like, having been, like, he's rusty on it, and that's how he chokes him out. And then he stands up, and then Jack gets back over, just like, hey, where you going? This ain't over. No, it's just, we strangle him with his bare hands. With his bare hands? What is like? Did Jack bite one of his biceps and sever an artery? What's going? Anyway. But overall, it is a fun spectacle. It is a fun novelty. But I would have preferred it to be like a 4-episode, 30-minute miniseries. Get those in between moments to breathe, let the characters truly get introduced to one another, truly. And maybe get a few more cameos from a few extra characters, because Piccolo was just there just to be there. I would have preferred. I want to see what happens. The guy who had that gout, at least he'll be an interesting cameo to see. But overall, it's just Yujiro just shows up out of nowhere. Just tag me in. I had no problem with that, but seeing Oma and Baki team up against Yujiro, that'd be interesting. If then Kuroki shows up like he's like Mr. Deverland's going to do something, you're going to get violated by Yujiro. Literally in this case. We've seen what happened with Chapter 100 in Baki 2018. And you're hairy? You know Yujiro likes some hairy. Yeah, no. He likes some hairy. Oh my goodness. So, I would have preferred to be a 4-episode miniseries that got released all at once, and then like in between the fight we get to have more character interactions, people going back and forth, and maybe I'd hit towards the fight because of rising tensions between the two sides about who could actually win, who's better, who got the better punching powers, the better opponents. Because Shubikawa versus Hasumi, I think it's like Hasumi or something. The guy, the key guy from Asura, would have been interesting, very interesting. The old man versus the young buck, it would have been interesting. But I was willing to accept the 3 fights. I was willing to accept. Oh, it's a movie? I thought it'd be like a mini-series type thing, you know, 1-2 episodes with the same length. No, well, instead of just being like an hour in like 4 minutes, it would have been an hour and 30 minutes, 90-minute film. But I think it's alright for the spectacle. I know a lot of fans will enjoy the fact that they get to see their favorite fighters from each series, you know, go at each other. Which this series does kind of make me miss the Kengan the Kengan Asura 3D art style. Because the 3D is not bad itself, is how it's used, and I got used to it and I enjoy it. It fits better, especially with the facial expressions, but with the Hamiyama not fighting like he used to. The Sao Pain stopping in between punches. That's not how Sao Pain works. He's juiced up. He's an animal. And then at the end, the Okoye versus potentially the 3 prisoners. He's not winning that fight. Especially 5v1. He's not winning that fight. Doyle with his skin technique. Dorian. He's not winning that fight 5v. We've seen what happened when he fought against the Worm. Sure, it is what it is. But overall, I guess like I said, I enjoyed the spectacle. I guess it's like a 7. Yeah, man. And the fact that the Oma ended, the Baki versus Oma ended it in the draw, it's just like you could have just had a definitive winner in the second one. Instead of this, well, you know, Jack just gets choked out and then he gets back up and Pickle shows up and so on, so on. So just, come on, man. And then Kato's there. But Suedo isn't, on which, okay, alright, there's nothing wrong with that. Just, I don't know, man. I don't know. I would have preferred a little more. A 4-episode miniseries, 30 minutes. I'll put it to be 2 hours, but I take that hour and 30 minutes and have one extra fight, have the characters fight like they're supposed to, and just so on and so on. You can make it. You can even have it make even more story sense. Yeah. And then like a lot of things happen like real quick. Oma and Baki pass each other, then immediately we're going straight into the fight. Straight into the fight. Yet we get a few quick character introductions and straight into the fight. Can we let it breathe? Can we have the people showing up? You know, we could even have it end with a worm attack showing up at the end. Showing, well, you know, I guess it's best that both parties stay at their own ways. But hey, it was nice having this whole tournament thing here. Because it was nice to see, right? The worms would have showed up, ruined the whole thing, and saying, hey, just so on and so on, right? But you know, messing with Tobaga was suicide, so it's just you better know who you guys messing with. But yeah, it could have been like that, but no, and it's just alright. It just made me look warm. It's like we was robbed. In a way, especially with that whole Jack and Kira Ryan thing. I have no problem with Jack losing the fight because I knew that was going to happen when Sao Pain went down, but it's just the way they did it, and the way they did, yeah. And then with the Baki versus Oma thing, is just like, then Oma just triggers advance out of nowhere for like no reason, and then automatically, of course, that triggers Baki Demon back.
Can't be.
What about Baki twisting his ear in the epinephrine? What about that? You could have brought that back before Oma would have pulled it up, or so on and so on, right? And I guess we can't really see the fights how we want to see the fights because Asura is not even finished. Now, it was like Asura, like full finish a series, Oma, there'll be a lot better Oma to go against Baki than just, well, you know, the few fights we've seen so far, Oma. So did this take place after Asura? What about Oma's heart problems? How come they advanced and it caused any problems for him? And then Kaku Kaio know all these things, which is it's not a problem, but it's just I would have expected the two groups between the two sides to be more intermixed, so we get to see different type of conversation. And since the other guys haven't heard what the other guys are able to do, and that's how you can give away. This is the first time people watching that thing. Then there'll be these characters who already in universe introducing the other characters like Hamiyama or who Jack is or what Baki has done. Well, are you saying he fought a caveman? Yeah, he fought a caveman. A caveman? What? And then potentially a hint towards Musashi Miyamoto at the end to follow up on both series or the next season. But it leaves a lot to be desired. It really does. It really does. I guess a lot of people gonna have fun with the spectacle, but the spectacle ain't good enough for me. Especially if it's gonna be like a one-time thing. Now, if it's like a season 2 or a sequel series, I would love that to be like an annihilation tournament style thing or a maximum tournament type thing. The different type of brackets to see how it does. But you have to wait till like Kengan Asura is ended anime-wise, so you can't spoil anything, or just that would be a lot better than just well, you know, you get to see some things from Oma, but not everything. You get to see some things from Ryan, but not everything. All right. There's no lion bite from Ryan, no so and so. When Ryan was taking on the worm guys, there's none of that. So how you gonna have double Lance Kuroki? We can't even see a Roki at his best. There's no precognition yet that he showed up yet, not yet. So and then Kanagito don't get to do anything, which is very tragic. I would have preferred Hamiyama versus Kanagito since Kanagito's gonna try to fight like Hamiyama. You're a street fighter, then let's do that. And then when Hamiyama would have pulled out the kicks, that's when they'd be like, oh, you can kick too. You must be an all-out, just pure brawler. Then let's do it. And then we get to see the formless and so and so, right? That would have been a way better match than Sao Pain. Get to see the best of Hamiyama. Get to see everything that Kanagito can do up to this point before he used the Dragon Shot. And that would have been a better matchup than Sao Pain. And which I don't hate him. I don't have a problem with him, but it's just I don't know. It could have been a way better matchup for Sao Pain than Hamiyama. Sao Pain versus Kazumi. And then you know Kennedy just go try to fight like Hamiyama because he got to beat Hamiyama in his own style. So that would have been amazing. Seeing these two guys go back and forth. Would have been excellent. But no, we didn't get that. We didn't get that at all. Similar to how Baki couldn't use a decent portion of his arsenal. Especially with the way Baki fights. Just. Yeah. So I had to hold back because of some spoilers with Omega. So I was like, oh, I wonder if he's going to use Demon Bane. Demon's Bane never showed up. And then that's when these two guys are fighting, you could have had the Worm show up and just pretty much they defuse the situation with Toagami. Like, you don't know who this guy's connected to? What you thought this was? It must be out of their mind. And they prepare the attack. Because I thought it would be a perfect time to attack, to take Oma at this moment. Right in there when Oma going against Baki at the peak. They get overwhelmed by Toragama forces and the fighters that are already there. We're going to get a few punches and techniques, people commenting on each other's styles and so on and so on. And we pretty much go on to the next set of fights. Cosmo versus Ali Jr. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. I like to see that. I like to see that. But I don't know. I could have been a lot better. It really could have. A lot of people are going to enjoy it just because of spectacle, but just seeing it is not good enough. It's like GXK. I want more. I want the actual fight, not just a halfway fight, halfway done, and just say, well, you know, in a few years, I wish the fight could have been better. We already know that half y'all gonna flip-flop anyway. I want the actual fight done as best as it can. Not just, well, I mean, we kind of sort of get it, but not fully. We kind of sort of see the fights, but not really. We kind of see the full potential, but not really. At all. That and people not know how Jack Hanma actually fights, it's just kind Cause Jack don't fight Ali Jr. or Pickle like he usually does. He's not some type of brute strength fighter. Some people just think he's a meathead because I'm talking about that's what Jack chose Sikorsky and so on and so on. So it's just, I don't know. It could have been a lot better. It really could have been a lot better. I don't know. And to see these two things as a crossover, they hint towards the manga special between the two. I think it was like Baki's like 30th anniversary or something like that. So it's just a hit towards that Dopo Orochi did fight Sao Ping's father, and we say, hey, that's a little bit nice, you know, just and keep it one of those fights that's, which in this case, why have it in the arena? And why not have it when Dopo was going across like the different countries and he encountered Sao Ping's father? And that's how Sao Ping recognized Dopo Orochi. The one eye get. No, that was before he lost his eye. Before that. It was just funny how they come out how the Baki characters have scary faces, but they don't come out how Jack apparently has lost half of his face. Or we got two other kids that have the face blown off. On which Kuroku Getsai versus Shinogi, Korea's brother, would have been excellent. Interesting. With those two characters, or even somebody else that really does with snatching tendons and so on and so on. Well, it could have been Falco. That fight would have been excellent, which it didn't show up in anime yet. Reasonable. But Zero Masaki versus Shibukawa. Because Shibukawa is an ex-assassin. He would have. That fight would have been something, boy. That would have been something. Like Shikabayashi versus Hamiyama would have been a better idea than Sao Pain. It really would have. Sao Pain versus Kazumi would have been an excellent fight. It really would. But it's just, we got the fights we got in. I guess it's good enough for some. Could have made it a better story, a temporary crossover, introducing these guys to this other side of the world where it's just like, we're not fighting for money. And these guys aren't corporate sponsored either. These guys are in it for the real deal. For the real deal. And then, another case, we didn't get the fighters reacting to all the teeth and the toenails and the bone fragments in the sand either. We didn't get that interaction. It's like, what type of fighting arena is this? It's not your normal sand. There's teeth and sand and stuff everywhere. It didn't happen. Did not happen at all. So, overall, it's like a 7 or a 6. A very high 6 or a 7. It's a nice spectacle of an idea, but it's just, I didn't get to see the fights, how the fight should have been, and it's just, that's just not good enough. I would have preferred 90 minutes to have an extra fight in there, or just extend those fights and have the characters fight. Do the same thing that that Ray did against him. We're trying to break Hamiyama's jaw, close range. It's just like, how come his jaw's not broken? Hamiyama ate bullets, remember? Bullets. Why did them got them scars in their face? Which would have been another difference in the Baki characters. Just like, those guys are battle worn and battle torn. These are a different breed. So I had no problem with one losing or the other having, you know, it's all fun, good games, you know. You have a good fights and so on, chilling and dealing, living it up and so on, but it's not like that. It's like how the Kengan Asura anime cut out some, like, developing things before the tournament and during the tournament currently, and it's just like, that stuff was a part of the overall series. It's not something that you just nonchalantly cut out. But, hey, it is what it is. I didn't really get what I want. But I hope you guys liked the video. I don't know if you guys' thoughts and opinions about the Baki X Kengan Asura crossover, because it was alright. It was alright.